to be reading the lesson 43 of corrective reading, B2. So if you are in this group, you should have already read the story before listening to this video. Story 43, The Captain's Chest. A truck was parked in front of Old Salt's house. Salt was holding the door open for two workers who were carrying a big trunk into the house. Tony had asked if they could look at the stuff in the trunk. Salt stared at Tony. He was trying to see if Tony was making fun of him. Tony said, "I'm not kidding, Salt. I'd really like to see what's in it." Salt turned away. Without looking at Tony, he said, Come around sometime and we'll see what we'll see." Rosa yelled, "Yeah, Salt, maybe it's a treasure." "Knock it off," Tony said. "Don't make fun of him all the time. That stuff gets old after a while." After school, Tony said to Rosa, "Hey, let's go over to Old Salt's place and see what's in that trunk." Rosa shook her head. "No, I don't think so." Then she shrugged. "Well, why not? Let's go." So they went to Old Salt's place. They knocked on the door. They could hear Salt walking to the door. He walked with a limp. He opened the door. He stared at them.
"Come to make fun of my captain, have you? Well, let me tell you. Me, you can make fun of, but there won't be a word of fun made about my captain."
Tony said, "We won't make fun, Salt. We just want to see what's in that trunk."
"Come with me, then,"
Salt said. Then he led them up the stairs. Then he led them down a hall. There were pictures on the wall. Most of them showed sailors and ships. When Salt came to a door near the end of the hall, he stopped.
"My captain's things are in here," he said.
Then he opened the door. The trunk was on the floor. It was open. Salt had taken some of the things from the trunk and placed them on the bed. There were a few medals. There was a big brass bell and a ship's clock. There were 2 uniforms, one of them with holes in it. There was the ship's log, and there were stacks of papers. Most of the papers were letters. Tony looked at the captain's things, and he felt sad. Before he had come up the stairs, he had wanted to see everything in the trunk, but now he felt a little ashamed of even looking at the captain's things. Tony felt as if he were looking at things he shouldn't see. Tony felt as if he were spying on the dead captain. Rosa went over and hit the bell with her finger. Bong! It sounded.
"Ah, that's a good sound,"
Old Salt said. Rosa picked up a stack of letters. "Why did he save these letters?" she asked. The old man grabbed the letters.
"Don't be nosing around there,"
he snapped. When he grabbed the letters, the string that bound them together broke and some of the letters fell on the floor.
"Now you've done it,"
Salt said. "I didn't do that," Rosa said. "I was just holding on to them when you tore them out of my hand." Tony bent down and began to help the old man pick up the letters. Tony picked up 5 or 6 letters, then he stopped. He was holding a small map, or something that looked like a map. It must have been in one of those letters. The map was covered with numbers and letters. "Salt," Tony said, "what is this?" Salt could not see very well without his glasses. He bent close to the paper. Then he said,
"Saints be with us! It's the map, it is! It's the map of the Foyle treasure!"
Tony felt a chill run up his back and grab him right behind the ears. That chill held on to him until his back was stiff. He stared at the map. Rosa stared at the map. The old man ran over to a dresser and got a large magnifying glass from it. He laid the map down on the dresser top and held the glass close to his eyes.
"Ah, it's the Foyle map, all right, with all of those letters on it."
Then Salt folded up the map and slipped it into his pocket. He patted the outside of his pocket and said,
"This old sailor's gonna be rich, yet he is."
Tony said, "Do you know where the treasure is?"
"It's all on this map," Salt said. "All I need to do is to find out how the code works, and I'll know all there is to know."
Then Salt led Tony and Rosa downstairs.
"Be off with you. Old Salt has a lot of work to do."